Welcome back to Zolder, where we have got, leading in atrocious conditions, Mark For The Love from John Walker, and then in third place, the hard-charging Gregory Rass, who we are watching now as he picks his way through the chicane in the White Lotus Exige, and Rass is finding grip, but really the rest of them are struggling as For The Love in the silver number 9 car comes through, and then the ball of lights and spray. There's the main straight. John Walker in the orange 211 leading from Gregory Rass, who emerges from the gloom as he makes his way into the first turn to start another lap here of this Zolder circuit. The Belgian weather renowned for its somewhat unpredictable nature, particularly at Zolder's sister circuit, Spa-Francorchamps, but Zolder in its own right, host to the Belgian Grand Prix for a number of years and still home to a number of international meetings, and it really does represent a real challenge for the drivers as well. A combination of medium speed twists and turns undulating through the Belgian forest, very picturesque circuit, and one the drivers thoroughly enjoy, although generally not in conditions as treacherous as these. And if anything, the rain is coming down even harder as this race progresses, because Gregory Rass has got his lights ablaze, whereas on the first couple of laps of the race we saw there was the odd puddle here and there. The track is now awash with standing water. There's rivers flowing across the track in a number of places. As you can see there, going through the chicane, there's pretty much one line through which isn't submerged, which is the one that John Walker takes as he tries to pull away from Gregory Rass as they both lapped Christophe Guerrier there in the number 97 car. Well, guerre in French means war, and today it's a battlefield out there at Zolder, because these are incredibly difficult conditions for the young and not so young drivers of the Lotus Cup Europe, as John Walker, the ex-Caterham racer, peeking his way through the ever-growing puddle, and it looks as if Gregory Rass is now just beginning to close in on his tail. Rass in the Lotus Exige, which doesn't normally have, certainly in dry conditions, the same pace as the 211s, relishing the opportunity to show his ability in these very tricky circuit conditions, as the car twitching under braking of John Walker. Gregory Rass looking a lot more smooth as he carves his way around the circuit, as Walker runs wide and through goes Rass. So Rass gains the position as we watch David Harvey picking his way through some of the cars, putting a lap, a couple of the runs a little bit lower down the order. David Harvey, it's probably his strongest showing of the season, as he's in pursuit of Christophe Lisandre. Lisandre in 6th position, as Harvey sticking quite squarely to the middle of the road. Such is the amount of water heading into that particular turn. You can see the puddles building up on the right-hand side of the track as the wheel tracks carve their way around the circuit. So Christophe Lisandre, who has been on the podium a number of times throughout the course of the 2010 season, including the last time out on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. He's certainly got the pace, but has he got the consistency, which is really what's needed for a good result in the wet? So they come through and complete another lap. This is the fight for 6th position. David Harvey, lights ablaze. It's very hard now to pick out the cars through the gloom, as Steve Williams, we saw him having some adventures earlier on. He has been plonked back onto the circuit by the Belgian marshals as he recovers up the order. He's just made his way past Markus Nikovic, so they're busy fighting over 17th and 18th position. Mick Edwards there in the silver 33 car, making his way through the screen as running a bit wide goes Carl Vivian, who misses his braking point, engages reverse and then rejoins the track as he will resume behind Markus Nikovic, as some of the production class cars as well, which predominantly can be seen racing in Lotus Track and League Trophy in the UK, also relishing the wet weather because it gives them a chance to find themselves a little bit higher up the order than they'd usually expect to be. Steve Williams, after the early race spin, I think Williams expects to see him certainly fighting for a podium position. Williams, a very tenacious competitor and an aggressive driver too, always exciting to watch around the circuit. It's Mark For The Love in the silver number 9 machine, who continues to lead the way as he's now very much in amongst the back markers. It's Jose Vazlin leading this particular train. He's just ahead of Nigel Ayres, so they are fighting over 21st and 22nd positions. They're about to go a lap down to Mark For The Love, who's now pulling well clear of John Walker, who out of our sight has found his way back past Gregory Rass. So it's Walker in 2nd position and then Gregory Rass in 3rd. More 3 bounds, as will Rass be able to take advantage of Walker picking his way past slow car. Not quite, but you can see the spray, the amount of rain that's coming down. It really is raining steroids. We've got a waved yellow flag. So somebody, unfortunately, has taken a trip to the gravel trap. There we can see the car being towed to a place of safety as the battle for second place really heats up now. Gregory Rass is sitting just behind John Walker. You can see he's just getting his windscreen covered in Walker's spray. So he moves to the inside, not so much to look for an overtake opportunity, more just so he can see where he's going as they make their way around the back of the paddock, accelerating along the back straight. And the chicane that ends this straight is a potential overtaking opportunity. It's also where we've seen John Walker make a couple of mistakes during the course of today's race. As he jumps on the brakes, the rain pelting down now. Very hard for these drivers to pick a braking point. Walker safely negotiating the chicane, so Gregory Rass unable to force some sort of opportunity this time round. They go up over the crest, then down the hill. This used to be a very fast part of the circuit. It was changed for safety reasons in the mid-1980s and instead has been moved to this tight and twisty chicane, but it does present another overtaking opportunity. Not that Gregory Rass is able to take advantage this time round. Instead, he settles in behind John Walker as they make their way through the Belgian countryside, fighting for second and third position. This is probably the most treacherous corner on the circuit at the moment because there is so much standing water in the braking area, and it really is an achievement for every driver just to get the car turned through the right-hander and on towards the end of another lap. The spray continues to be kicked up as Nigel Ayres looks to the inside of Jose Vasla as Walker and Rass continue their battle. They're coming up onto the tail of Yves Couramon once more, so they're going to be lapping Couramon for the second time in this race. And this really is a test of driver confidence. The crowd here at Zolder incredibly thankful, I'd imagine, for a covered grandstand, given the opportunity to watch this rather enthralling Lotus Cup Europe race with cars disappearing at every angle as we've lost Klaus Racat. So Klaus Racat into the gravel trap. I suspect he may well be recovered from there by the marshals because the Belgian marshals love their motor race and they want to see everybody make it to the finish, and a small matter of the car being stuck in the gravel isn't a deterrent to getting them back on the track and back into the action as Dennis van den Sarvel leads another train of cars, making their way through what is now an ever-growing puddle into the first chicane. As Mark Fullalove able to take the conventional racing line. Looking at the spray, it really is a study of effort and concentration watching his 211 as he is now well in amongst some of the slower cars, and this is really a treacherous stage of the race for Mark Fullalove because he is closing in on some of the cars really much more quickly than they're going, and he's got to pick his way through, and that means moving offline and potentially getting caught in some of the standing water, which, as you can see, the rain sheeting down is now really quite a common occurrence around most of this Zolder circuit. We come up to the second chicane now. Is Gregory Rass going to look for a move on John Walker here? He contemplates it, but no way through there. Instead, they jink through in single file. But Gregory Rass, I think he's just hoping he can force John Walker into an error, which will enable him to make his move through. So they go through the right-hander, and again, Gregory Rass looking to the outside of John Walker as they will then come back into our view, plunging downhill. Here they go. We are into the final lap of the race, and Gregory Rass has gone through. So Gregory Rass takes second place away from John Walker as we're in the very, very closing stage of the race. And Gregory Rass has possibly saved his best till last. Now, will he be able to make that move stick as the checkered flag goes out to the gloom and the headlights of Mark Fullalove. Mark Fullalove taking the win in the first race here at Zolder. A very, very fine drive indeed from Fullalove, and a hugely deserved victory. So Fullalove has taken the win, but second place, is it going to go to Gregory Rass? Yes, it is. He's been able to hold off John Walker on this final lap of the race, so Gregory Rass taking second place, John Walker claiming a hard-fought third position, and despite the conditions, a hugely enjoyable battle for second position, and Gregory Rass, I think, will be overjoyed with that as he receives the acclaim of the crowd and the marshals around the Zolder circuit. The rest of the field streaming across to take a very welcome checker flag. So the final classification is the win to Mark Fullalove, with second going to Gregory Rass. John Walker takes third, and Jean-Baptiste Meusnier taking fourth position, with Tom Chataway holding on for fifth and Christophe Lezandre rounding out the top six. In terms of the class results, the 211 class was won by Mark Fullalove from John Walker and Tom Chataway. The Exiges headed by Gregory Rass from Jean-Baptiste Meusnier and Gregor Zechka rounding out the podium. James Knight took production class honours from Ben Gower and Mick Edwards. In the invitation class, just 2 finishers, but David Harvey held off Kai Kederholm.
Mark, you started back in 9th place and you won the race. How did you manage that?
It's a good question. I didn't think I'd be on the podium today, if I'm honest with you. I struggled yesterday. First time I've driven for a year, been out of the car for too long. So, yeah, I was surprised today to win it, but enjoyed it immensely.
Greg, fantastic race. First exit, and you're second in the race. How did you manage to be so quick under the rain? The more it rains, the better it is for me. That's really something I like. It's more down to the driver to make the difference. The cars are more on the same level. So the quieter you are, the more confident you feel under the rain, the better it is. I was quite lucky because I did a double spin, but I didn't hit the wall. So I'm very happy. I was very lucky. There'll be a second race. Let's see how it will work. There will be more rain, so it's going to be interesting.
Dave, that certainly wasn't easy out there. Tell us about your race.
It wasn't easy, it was very difficult. If you could see the standing water, it wasn't too bad, you could drive around it. But when you couldn't see, which was most of the time, then you hit standing water, touch any of the controls and you're sideways, so it was hard.
Pleased you finished this one?
It's about time, isn't it?
Well, it was certainly a mixed race out there with lots of spills and spins, and with the rain still coming down and no wet tyres in this series, it should make for an interesting race too. Join us after the break.